What's up everyone, and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Michael Chandler saying he's been trying to fight Nate Diaz as his contract comes to an end. Reports are indicating that October 19th is the date when Nate Diaz's contract will be up with the UFC. Whether or not he gets the last fight of his deal signed, sealed, and delivered, he's up on October 19th and will officially become a free agent on that day. Diaz has expressed his ongoing frustration at getting the last fight on his deal done just so he can move on to seemingly greener pastures and make more money. What we know so far is that fights against Dustin Poirier, Tony Ferguson, and Khamzat Chimaev all fell through, and Diaz has been left twisting in the wind. He believes that the promotion is slow-rolling him in order to have a trilogy fight against Conor McGregor whenever the Irishman returns to the octagon, as he recovers from a broken leg injury. Still, one guy who stated his intention to fight Diaz is Michael Chandler. The one-time lightweight title challenger stated in a recent reply to a fan on Twitter about the chances of him fighting Diaz that he's been looking to get into it with him. This is what he tweeted: "I've been trying." Chandler is coming off a spectacular front kick knockout of Tony Ferguson at UFC 274 earlier this year, sending Tony unconscious into the canvas. He then called out Conor McGregor in his post-fight speech, but a battle against Diaz could also be entertaining as hell. What do you think? Do you feel we will see Nate Diaz in the octagon before October 19th? And should Chandler fight him? Do you want to see that fight? And who do you think would win? Ali Abdelaziz complains that the ESPYs were rigged. The 2022 ESPY Awards saw Charles Oliveira take home the award for MMA Fighter of the Year, following his wins over Michael Chandler and Dustin Poirier in 2021. Oliveira earned the title against Chandler and defended it against Poirier, finishing both men by TKO and submission respectively. In winning the award, he beat out a litany of top-tier fighters, including Kayla Harrison, Alexander Volkanovski, and Kamaru Usman. Usman's manager, Ali Abdelaziz, went to bat for his boy in a recent interview with the Schmo about how he feels that Usman was robbed of the award, and feels that Oliveira didn't do as much as Usman, but did somehow win over him. Case in point, this is what Ali stated while on the Schmo.
I think this ESPY award was rigged. I think Kamaru Usman won, and I think they rigged it. I think the man in 2021, he fought Gilbert. He fought Masvidal, make it look easy. He played with him. He fought Kobe again, make it look easy. You told me one time Kamaru was in dangers.
During 2021, Usman finished Gilbert Burns via TKO in February. Then he knocked out Jorge Masvidal in April, and finally put on an incredible performance to beat his rival Colby Covington in a rematch last November, winning via unanimous decision. Ali feels that those wins and the number of wins puts him in a higher echelon than Oliveira, enough to earn him the ESPY for MMA Fighter of the Year. Usman will have a chance to show that ESPN mistakenly gave it to Oliveira when he faces off against Leon Edwards at UFC 278 in August, which will be his first fight since beating Covington last year, as he's had to recover from hand surgery. What do you think about Ali's statements that the ESPYs were rigged? Jan Blachowicz could make 185 pounds, says Michael Bisping. When Jan Blachowicz was younger and fought in Muay Thai, he would weigh in around 200 pounds. In a recent interview on the MMA Hour, he made a comment about possibly moving down to 185 pounds simply to challenge Israel Adesanya to a rematch of their light heavyweight title fight from March of 2021, which Blachowicz won by a decision. It was clear from the clip that Blachowicz was half joking when he made those comments about an Adesanya rematch. But Michael Bisping believes this is a possibility. Adesanya is being criticized for his performance against Jared Cannonier, and Blachowicz said that he might have been the reason why, given how dominant he was against the Nigerian Kiwi in the grappling department. But this is what Bisping stated about the possible weight cut that Blachowicz would have to do to make 185 pounds.
If he got down to 200 pounds, like he did in the past, then I think he can make the weight. When I was fighting at middleweight, I used to want to show up at the fighter hotel at 200 pounds. If I did that with the water loading, with the weight cut process, I could make 185 pretty easily. Well, not easily, it was almost killing myself every single goddamn time, but you get what I'm saying.
Bisping goes on to say that Adesanya would want a rematch against Jan, as he's the only fighter who's beaten him in the octagon, albeit at 205 pounds. Bisping says a lighter Jan would be faster, although possibly comes at the cost of takedowns prowess, but who knows? Either way, Blachowicz is only considering this because current light heavyweight champion Jiří Procházka is calling out Glover Teixeira for a light heavyweight title rematch. After an incredible war at UFC 275, Jiří was disappointed at his performance, despite having become the first fighter to submit Glover in his career, and indicated that Blachowicz would likely get the next shot. What do you think about Bisping's comments regarding Blachowicz at middleweight? Would you like to see that? Don't forget to take a second to hit that like button and subscribe to the MMA Zone to stay up to date on all of the latest fight news. An interim featherweight title? Alexander Volkanovski says go for it. You gotta love Alexander Volkanovski. He's coming off of a masterful performance in his trilogy fight against Max Holloway at UFC 276 about 2 weeks ago, and he's really keen to stay active. While he does have a small bump in the road with a broken hand, he's still calling for a potential shot at the lightweight title and the chance to become a champ. As it stands, the lightweight title shot picture is now more clear, with Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev set to do battle on October 22nd in Abu Dhabi. Volkanovski will be on the sidelines for a few months to recover from the hand surgery, and in the meantime, the UFC could have an interim featherweight title fight between Yair Rodriguez and Josh Emmett. Rodriguez recently had his hand raised in his fight against Brian Ortega over the weekend at UFC Long Island, after Ortega injured his shoulder in the fight and could not continue. Yair is now tied third in the division, alongside Josh Emmett, who last month beat Calvin Kattar in the UFC Austin main event via split decision. Volkanovski has no problem with this whatsoever, and in fact sees only positives with an interim title. This is what the champ stated about this to Ariel Helwani this week.
If they do this interim thing, if that happens, they'll just make it for a bigger fight anyway, so I don't mind. So then you've got a clear number one guy. Everyone's going to be screaming their name after whoever wins out of Josh Emmett and Yair Rodriguez. Then they can both say they're fighting for a belt anyway. They can go there, and then when we fight, it's another big fight.
Volkanovski goes on to say that there needs to be a clear-cut number one contender, and that someone needs to separate themselves from the pack at featherweight. He's been a dominant fighter since he's entered the organization in 2016 and hasn't lost once in the octagon. Meanwhile, the featherweights are picking each other off for the chance to fight for the title, something that Max Holloway was good at, enough to get him 2 rematches against the champion. For Volkanovski, the idea of moving up in weight to become a champ is enticing, as it would keep him very active, which he stated is his intention. What do you think about Volkanovski's comments here? Do you agree that the UFC should do an interim title fight between Yair and Josh Emmett? Today's video was packed with some juicy stories from the fight world. What are your thoughts about what's going on in MMA? Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the MMA Zone to see more videos just like this. See you next time.